Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the 20th day of February 2024. I hope you're safe and healthy today, that your family's safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who are out here saving lives every day. And those also that pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean. And those also that make deliveries such as mail for our convenience. Double blessings upon the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, sex slavery. Double curses upon the perpetrators of these things. Double curses upon the profiteers of these things. And double curses on the perverts that create this industry. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children, increasingly senior citizens, homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So, yesterday, major news, Jacque Vaughn was fired as head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. I was going to say New York Nets. Brooklyn Nets. And the ramifications, all we care about as Knicks Nation is the ramification for our Knicks. Of course, we are very interested in Mikal Bridges. Now, how does this affect? I have to give y'all some bad news. I think based on what Ian Begley reported yesterday, and again, Ian is one of the three wise men, although he's starting to rub shoulders with some, anyway, Ian reported yesterday that the reason the Nets fired Jacque Vaughn, according to Sean Marks, President of Basketball Operations General Manager of the Brooklyn Nets, was because they were concerned that big name players would not want to come to Brooklyn if Jacque Vaughn was the coach. Which tells us something. It tells us the Nets are seeking to attract big name players. Now, if that's the case, they're not trading Mikal Bridges because they're seeking a number one to go with him, which would be the number two guy. And as I mentioned, Mikal Bridges at his best was in Phoenix as the third option behind CP3 and Devin Booker. And he played that role extremely well. And he would be the third option in New York. The thing is, the Nets are seeking to attract the guy to make him, that is Mikal, the second option. Now, you can't really get no bigger than James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. Okay, they've had all those guys. You can't really get any bigger than that. And it didn't work out. Now, really, the only big name guy out there who's not at the end of his contract at all, who they might want to trade for, is Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell does want to come to New York. My question would be, do the Nets have the assets? Because you're going to have to pay for Donovan Mitchell. You're not going to give them no chump change and think they're going to trade Donovan Mitchell to you. They're second in the East right now. So you got to come correct. You got to bring a lot of behind to get some behind from them. I don't think the Nets have the assets to get that done. So then the next thing you would look at, logically, is a player that can come over as a free agent. That's the only way they would get something like that done. They'd have to attract a free agent to Brooklyn. Now, a guy that's a top-level guy in the league would not come to a team unless there's two reasons. One of two reasons. Number one, he hasn't gotten his big contract yet, and he's looking to get that big contract, and some reason he'll come to Brooklyn because he can get that money. You're talking probably 35 to 40 million a year. Number two, maybe he already got his money, and he's looking to come to Brooklyn because he thinks he's that final piece to get them over the top. In the second category, I don't see anybody out there. Because Brooklyn is not one piece away from getting a chip. They need multiple pieces. Okay? So I don't see that happening. So the only way Brooklyn is able to really attract top talent is they got to attract somebody that's looking for the bag. They're not going to do that this summer, which tells me they're willing to wait another year until Ben Simmons' contract comes off their books, and they'll have $40 million in space or more at that point. Okay, so they're looking to attract a free agent that's looking for the bag. Now, I have not scoured the league yet to see who those guys are. Maybe we'll talk about that in a future video. But for now, that's the game. So it doesn't look like at this point, like right now, it doesn't look like Mikal Bridges will be made available by the Nets. It doesn't look like they're going to do a sell. It looks like they're going to try to run the same crew they now have and hope that the following summer, that will be the summer of 2025, they can get a guy that's really got superstar potential, that's looking for the bag, that doesn't want to be where they are right now. That's what they're going to probably try to do. I got to scour the league to look at who those players might be, but they're not going to get a trade done. They don't have the assets. They're not going to get, they're not going to trade with New York. They're not doing that now. They're looking for a free agent that's looking for the bag. Now, what would be really sad, in my view, is if they thought that guy would say DeMar DeRozan. That would be a mistake. DeMar DeRozan is not the guy to be your number one right now with Mikal as your 1A. See, if they go after somebody like that, or the pogo stick Levine from Chicago, that would be a bad move. That would be a bad management move. That's not the proper way. So that's why my respect for Sean Marks is high, because I feel like he's smarter than that. Like he would try to get building at least the right way. It doesn't appear to me that they're on that tangent of trying to rebuild right now. I feel like they should be. They should just tear this whole thing. They've been trying to build on the fly since they got Durant and Irving, and then added Harden to it. They've been trying to rebuild and create something on the fly, like a LeBron-esque type. LeBron is really the only guy that could do that. And he's at the end of his career at age 40 soon. So that's not something you want to build the right way, through the draft, through development, and then you add that guy later, like the Knicks did. Okay. I'm still thinking by the summer, they could change their mind and go for the full rebuild, because I just can't see them getting that guy this summer. And so they'd have to either wait till 2025 or rebuild. So in that sense, and if Sean Marks loses his job, which is possible, you already fired the head coach now. So if the owner decides I'm going to go a whole different direction, Mikal Bridges will be available, because the next guy's going to clean house and start over. Okay, so we're going to see it's possible for Mikal. It's still, I would say overall, it's still 50-50. Even though they said they're looking for a top tier guy, and that Jacque Vaughn won't draw that guy, I think that whole thing's a little bit of BS, because I can't see them getting a top tier guy unless it's Donovan Mitchell, and I don't see them having the assets that Cleveland would require. Remember what Cleveland gave up to get Donovan Mitchell. So they'd be looking for at least 4 number ones, plus they'd be looking for some talent, to fill in for him. They're losing a starter, not just a starter, a superstar. So they're looking for a guy that can be a starter on their team. They'd be wanting a Mikal Bridges, but then again, why would Donovan want to come to Brooklyn with a broken team? Don't make no sense to me. So I'm leaning toward either A, they're going to wait till 2025, run back the same squad, and hope to acquire a guy looking for the bag in 2025. Or B, they just look to rebuild this summer. They're going to fire Sean Marks and start all over again. So that's the next shoe I'm looking to drop. If they fire Sean Marks, then we know what's getting ready to happen. Y'all enjoy your Tuesday. So